Junction 12, express lanes at 8, outbound to O'Hare from downtown at 29, slow from Central to Harlem, heavy from Cumberland to the extension. Inbound Ike, sluggish from Manheim to the east, Thorndale to the post office 37, outbound 34, inbound Stevenson 55 to Lakeshore Drive at an hour and 10, heavy from Harlem to the Dan Ryan, outbound 37, sluggish from Pulaski to Cicero, and again from LaGrange to the Tri-State, inbound Dan Ryan 95th to downtown. At 18, pockets of delays from 95th to Cermak, express lanes heavy from Pershing to the Stevenson. That's traffic. I'm Eddie Manzano. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy. Spotty drizzle forming by the late afternoon, high near 50. 42 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. No lines at the cafeteria at Earl STEM Academy and the other CPS schools.
I send my kids every day to lunch there for free.
Plenty of time to reflect on life and its meaning in the faculty lounges. Any teachers coming over to do anything other than enjoy the free lunch at the schools at which they teach, or work on their choreography for street theater, like we saw at Bell Elementary last week with the Thriller rendition. That was just fantastic.
They were in step. I have to give them that.
No, it's you put the work in.
Right. You do the time, and that's the performance. It shines.
You get a good outcome. Joseph Ocol is a middle school math teacher, after-school chess coach at Earl STEM Academy in Inglewood, and he joins us again. Joseph, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Quinn. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for giving me this chance.
Say hi to Justin.
Good morning. It's great to have you back. We know that you withdrew from union representation a while back, and we know that you're been ostracized for crimes against kids, like starting a chess program at Earl STEM Academy. It's outrageous. But how are you interacting with colleagues at present? Do you see any of your fellow teachers crossing the picket line or anxious to do so?
Yeah, I got a chance to pass by the picket line, and we have had always cordial relationships. In fact, I got them some donuts the other day, and they were.
That's the way to keep it cordial.
Just wanted
that's the way.
Just wanted to have this cordial relationship with them. But there are other teachers from other schools, and even from the suburbs, came up with profanities on the public forum, such as the Facebook, and they posted my picture there, calling me the F word, calling me a scab. I think many of them are not aware about the Supreme Court decision that came out in June last year on the Janus case, that paying any money to the union constitutes political speech. So it's a public union. It's a public. We are public employees. So my point is that much as I want to also be fair and pay the fair share fees or the agency fees, that's no longer allowed by the Supreme Court, and it says that while workers can choose whether or not to join the union, unions are legally obligated to bargain for everyone in a particular work group, and this is a teachers' union. So I do not want to be called a scab, but on the other hand, I want my voice, and I believe that the union voice is not my voice. So the union's fight is not my fight. That's what even Janus said.
Right.
And I agree with that.
Do other teachers want to join you? Do other teachers want to join you and cross the picket line?
There were other teachers who already contacted me and sought my advice, and I said all we need to see is the plight of the kids. That's all. So if you want to be responsible for your students, then I guess the best way is just to be with them.
How do you
report
react?
to work and
How do you react to what you've seen some of the teachers do that's been reported on? You see them out
Tailgating.
drinking during the afternoon. You see this what we just mentioned before you joined us. This thriller routine that a bunch of teachers put together outside of Bell School last week. How do you react to that?
it's really unprofessional, and I just feel sad because this is all about the students. So, I mean, I cannot see the point why we continue to neglect the students, and yet we say that we care for them. I cannot see that point. And as I said earlier, there are other ways to fight. There are other ways to negotiate. But you don't dangle the plight of the kids in the middle of a fight. I mean, we can fight as adults. We can pursue those demands, but to dangle the kids, and I don't see the direct correlation there. I don't even see an indirect correlation there.
Well,
What
are any of the
I just feel
teachers?
that we're losing
Yeah.
so much for these kids.
I know. Are any of the teachers realizing that the union delegates representing them may not have their best interests at heart? Because I believe that the teachers do want to go back to work. They're sick of this. The ones that I've heard from, they're tired. They want to go back. They don't like not getting paid. Their health insurance runs out at the end of the week. And are the delegates actually listening to them?
I'm hoping that a number of them would see the the end of this, the tunnel. The point is that we should consider that funding collective bargaining is highly political if it uses taxpayer money, and when one does not have a choice. And the Supreme Court said that public unions are inherently political and that they would be able to survive even without the collecting the fees from non-members. I'm not a member, so the teachers who are members, they have the choice whether or not to be members, but they're not supposed to be legally bound. The unions are legally obligated to bargain for everyone in a particular work group, and this is a teachers' work group, with or without, even if the teachers, some of the teachers are not members, they are legally obligated. Now they say that I'm trying to be a free rider. They try to piggyback. Again, the Supreme Court had dismissed that argument. The Supreme Court said the free riding on a bus headed for a destination that one wishes to reach, it's not that. It's more like a person being shanghaied for an unwanted voyage.
Right. I mean,
So
we
when I joined CPS, I joined as a teacher. I did not join as a union member.
yeah.
So I was tied up then. When I joined CPS, I was tied. And that's compelled speech.
We understand the Janus decision, and we understand that teachers can opt out the way that you did. Actually, the way that Janus decision reads, it should be everybody should be out and have to opt in. But of course, that's not the way it's being played out with intransigent cities and school districts like Chicago and like CPS with CTU. But there's some fraction of Chicago teachers that are opting out, small fraction. But I want to get to parents, because that's where the pressure can come. I mean, if you lose the parents, then you lose your leverage. It doesn't seem to me that the Chicago Teachers Union, that teachers have lost the parents as much as Amy hopes that they have. I just don't think they have, and I wonder what your interaction with parents at Earl STEM has been, what their perspective is on this strike.
I have had received thank you messages from parents. They said that they feel that this is so much. There's so much pressure on them because a number of parents are working. These parents are working and they're trying to find ways to support their children. But where do they put the child? The children they need to find ways where they can put their children. If they cannot put them in school, they have to spend something for where they can place their children in order for them to be able to work. However, the schools are open, So that's the point where even last Friday we had about 30 kids there, and the parents were thankful that they'll be able to get to their work. They were able to work, and at the same time their children are safe. And that's the point. That's what I'm trying to drive at. That we should not sacrifice the parents. We should not sacrifice the children. We can negotiate on some other ways. We can pursue those demands in some other ways.
So are you, since you're not striking, are you still getting paid? And if it's not ended by November 1st, is your health insurance going to be affected?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm hoping that this strike will end soon because the kids are the ones losing here. Actually, if some teachers would like to go on Uber or what just to be able to get some income, but the kids, the losses of the opportunities will never be able to be recovered, and that is so sad.
The loss of opportunity.
I mean, because you're in Inglewood, which is one of the tougher neighborhoods in the city, more violent neighborhoods in the city. I'm sorry to report, but that's a fact. Talk about your chess program again. I want to give you an opportunity to profile this chess program and what you've done with the students at Earl STEM, because it is so remarkable. And we've had you on the show to talk about it before, but I don't think it can be talked about enough, because this is an example that it seems to me should be replicated and scaled system-wide. And it continues to baffle me why it isn't and why there's so much resistance to it. But what you've done with your students at Earl STEM with respect to introducing them to the game of chess and essentially mentoring a bunch of chess champions.
If I recall the 2016, you, Dan, and your friends were able to support us. We won the national championship for the all girls, and that was 3 weeks after that strike, because I decided to be with my students then, and it was sort of a vindication. And my next challenge at the time was to find some funds for us to be able to go to Washington D.C., go to the White House, meet the president, be able also to bring the kids to Congress, because we got some sort of recognition from Congress. So it was something that the kids will forever remember. But I thought if I did not be with those kids, then we would not have made it. And if I heeded the union's call to leave the kids, neglect them, leave the classroom and go out to the streets, we would not have made it. And last school year, we made it to the 4th place, the only CPS school that made it to the nationals, to the national junior high championship. And 3 of my kids won individual trophies, and we won 4th place as a team. And of course, the challenge is always the funding, but money can be found. You can make your appeals, but to make demands as what this union is doing, and to dangle the plight of the kids, and to refuse to be in the classroom, that's something that I cannot also in conscience do as a teacher, because my responsibility is with my students. That's what my calling is. And even my late parents they were teachers, and they have always said that teaching is now a noble profession, and you don't equate that with money.
It is a noble.
It's not always with money. It's not always with money. It's about the values. You leave something behind, and it's going to be considered a legacy. Leave something behind for the next generations to come.
It is a noble profession. It's just unfortunate not everybody in the profession is noble. You certainly are. Joseph Ocol, middle school math teacher, after-school chess coach, Earl STEM Academy in Inglewood. Joseph, thanks for joining us again. Hopefully your kids will come back and be getting the math instruction and chess instruction they need and want very soon. Appreciate your time as always.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.